Negative thinking is like a slow. It does not kill you in one day, but it destroys you over time. It hides in your mind, waiting for the moment when you are weak. Then it whispers things like you can do it. You're not good enough. Why even try? These words feel small, but they are dangerous. They stop you from taking action. They kill your confidence. They make you believe in a future that is already lost. The truth is, life is already full of challenges. But when your own mind becomes your enemy, the battle becomes twice as hard. You do not only fight the world, you fight yourself. This is why you must learn to control your thinking before it controls you. If you let negative thinking grow, it will shape your habits, your choices, and your future. It will make you blind to your own potential. Killing negative thinking does not mean you will never have a bad thought again. It means you will catch it early. You will not allow it to take root and grow into fear, doubt, or hopelessness. This is not just about thinking positive. It is about building a mind so strong that negative thoughts cannot live inside it for long. The following 8 rules will help you master your mind. They are not just ideas to read once and forget. They are mental weapons. Use them daily, and you will notice something amazing. Your mind will begin to work for you, not against you. Rule 1. Recognize the enemy. Before you can defeat negative thinking, you must first see it clearly. Most people live on autopilot, moving through their days without paying attention to the thoughts running through their minds. They feel stressed, worried, or sad, but they rarely notice that all of these feelings begin with small, silent thoughts. These thoughts may appear harmless at first, but if left unchecked, they grow like weeds, spreading doubt, fear, and hesitation into every corner of your life. Recognizing negative thinking is the first and most important step because you cannot fight an enemy you cannot see. It is like trying to catch a thief in your house without knowing he is there. If you fail to notice him, he will keep taking what belongs to you, your peace, your confidence, and your potential. But once you shine a light on him, you take the first step to stopping the damage. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. Start by paying close attention to your inner voice. Listen carefully to the words you say to yourself when something goes wrong, when you face a challenge, or when you make a mistake. Negative thoughts often appear in predictable patterns and phrases. You may hear yourself thinking, "I can do this. I am not good enough. What if I fail? Or this will never work." These thoughts feel natural because your mind repeats them over and over. At first, they may seem small or even harmless, but each one chips away at your self-belief. When you notice these thoughts, pause for a moment and tell yourself this is a negative thought. I do not have to believe it. At first, this may feel strange or awkward, but with practice you will become faster at catching these thoughts before they spread and take control of your mind. A powerful ways to understand your negative thinking is to write it down. Keep a small notebook or use your phone, and whenever you feel anxious or hopeless, stop and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Write the thought exactly as it appears in your mind. Seeing it on paper helps you separate yourself from it. You will realize this is just a thought. You are Tom. It is not the truth. Many people live as if their thoughts are facts, but they are not. They are temporary mental events that come and go. The moment you understand this, you gain the ability to choose which thoughts to focus on and which to let pass. Negative thinking is clever. It often wears a mask, pretending to be realistic or logical. You may tell yourself, "I am just being honest about the situation," or "I am preparing for the worst." While it may sound reasonable, it is still feeding fear and stopping you from taking action. True awareness means learning to tell the difference between healthy caution and self-sabotage. Ask yourself 3 important questions. Whenever a thought makes you feel stuck or worried, is this thought helping me take action? Does this thought push me toward a solution or keep me stuck? Would I say this to my best friend if they were in my situation? If the answer is no, then it is not a helpful thought. It is an enemy trying to control your mind. Recognizing negative thinking is not a one-time event. It requires daily attention and patience. Your mind is like a room that can be filled with light or darkness. When you become aware of the negative thoughts creeping in, you are turning on the light. Even the smallest awareness can stop the spread of doubt and fear. The more you practice, the quicker you will catch negative thinking. The moment it arises, you will start to see patterns in your mind, notice triggers, and understand which thoughts are trying to limit you. Each time you recognize the enemy, you're already stronger than you were before. And every small victory adds up by shining a light on your negative thoughts, questioning them, and separating yourself from them. You gain the power to stop them from controlling your actions and your future. This is the foundation for all the other rules. Until you recognize the enemy, no strategy will fully work. Awareness is freedom, and freedom is the first step to a stronger, calmer, and more confident mind. Rule 2: replace the poison. Recognizing negative thinking is only the first step. Awareness alone does not remove the poison from your mind. Many people notice their negative thoughts, but do nothing to replace them. So the harm continues quietly. So a strong mind does not only avoid negativity, it actively fills the space with something better. Think of your mind like a glass of water. If the water is dirty and you pour out only half the rest will still make you sick. But if you continue adding clean water until the glass is full, the dirt is gone, and the water becomes pure again, your mind works the same way. Negative thoughts can fill your mental space unless you replace them with something positive and helpful. When you catch a negative thought, do not leave the space empty. Fill it immediately with a constructive, empowering thought. For example, if your mind says, "I can do this," replace it with, "I will try until I learn how." If it says, "This will never work," replace it with, "This will work if I find the right way." Small, deliberate replacements like this gradually reprogram your brain. Over time, your mind will naturally start looking for solutions rather than dwelling on problems. The habit of replacement creates momentum that leads to confidence and action. Replacing negative thoughts is not easy at first. Your brain is used to old thinking patterns, so it resists change. Imagine walking through tall grass every day along the same path. That path becomes clear and easy to follow. But if you want to make a new path, you must walk the new way again and again until it becomes as clear as the old one. Your brain works in the same way. The more you practice positive thinking, the stronger the new mental path becomes. At the same time, the old negative path grows weaker, fading away until it no longer dominates your mind. A simple 3-step method can help you replace negative thoughts effectively. First, catch the thought. Notice the exact words your mind is using. Second, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this really true? Do I have evidence? Third, change it. Replace it with a thought that helps you take action, that motivates you instead of stopping you. These 3 steps, practiced consistently, can create lasting mental change. However, be careful not to replace negativity with fake positivity. Your brain can sense when words feel untrue, and forcing something that feels like a lie can backfire. Instead, choose words that are both hopeful and realistic. For example, rather than saying, "I am the best in the world," say, "I am improving every day and I am capable of more than I think." Small, Believable affirmations are far more powerful than exaggerated ones because your mind accepts them and begins to act accordingly. Another method to replace negative thoughts is through affirmations. Short positive sentences you repeat daily. But here's a crucial point. Affirmations alone are not enough. They must be paired with action. Saying "I am confident" has little effect if you do not act with confidence when you combine positive words with small steps forward. Your brain begins to believe them. This creates a loop where your thoughts, words, and actions reinforce each other, making positive thinking stronger and more natural over time. Gratitude is also a powerful tool for replacement. When your mind says nothing is going right, pause and name 3 things. You are grateful. You are grateful for they do not have to be big. Perhaps a friend to support a sunny day, or even just the fact that you are alive. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present and possible. Over time, it rewires your brain to notice opportunities, blessings, and strengths. Rather than problems and weaknesses, think of replacing negative thoughts as tending a garden. If you only pull out the weeds but never plant flowers, the weeds will grow back. But if you plant seeds of hope, courage, and belief, they will occupy the space and leave no room for negativity to return like a well-tended garden. Your mind will flourish with positivity, resilience, and clarity. Over time, these small daily practices create a mental landscape where negative thinking cannot survive. Transforms completely. Rule 3: control your environment. You can train your mind all day, but if you live in a toxic environment, your progress will be slow. Negative thinking grows stronger when it is fed by surroundings that are unhealthy for your mind. Just as plants need sunlight, water, and good soil to grow strong and healthy, your thoughts also need the right environment if the surroundings are dark, polluted, or harmful. No amount of mental training will fully succeed. Your mind absorbs what it sees and hears, and if you're constantly exposed to negativity, fear, or doubt, it will begin to shape your thoughts, actions, and even your sense of self-worth. The first place to look is at the people around you. Ask yourself, do they lift you up or do they pull you down? If you spend time with people who constantly complain, gossip, or doubt everything, you will start thinking like them. This does not mean you are weak. It is simply how human beings are wired. We naturally absorb the energy around us being around negativity. It is like sitting next to someone who is smoking. You may not be the one lighting the cigarette, but you still breathe in the smoke. Over time, it affects your health and your energy. Your mind works the same way. The voices and moods of those around you influence the way you see yourself, your life, and your future. Controlling your environment does not mean cutting everyone out of your life immediately. It does not mean isolating yourself or avoiding challenges. Instead, it is about being selective with where you spend your time and energy. Make a conscious choice to be around people who inspire you, who believe in growth, and who focus on solutions instead of problems. Surround yourself with those who lift you higher and encourage you to become better. And if you cannot find such people nearby, seek them elsewhere. Books, podcasts, online communities, and mentors can provide the guidance and energy you need. The voices you expose yourself to every day will eventually become the voice in your own head, shaping your thoughts, habits, and beliefs. Your environment is not limited to the people around you. It also includes the media you consume. If you constantly watch negative news, scroll through social media, comparing yourself to others, or read harmful and judgmental comments online, your mind will fill with fear, anger, and envy. This is mental junk food. Just as your body feels sick after eating too much unhealthy food, your mind weakens after consuming too much negativity. Protecting your mental diet is essential for building resilience and positive thinking. Choose content that uplifts, motivates, and teaches you something valuable. Limit the time you spend with anything that triggers stress, doubt, or comparison. You can also design your physical environment to support positive thinking. Keep your living space clean and organized because a messy room creates a messy mind. Decluttering is not just about aesthetics. It is about creating space for clarity, peace, and focus. Surround yourself with inspiring objects, quotes, or images that remind you of your goals and values. Play uplifting music that motivates you, instead of songs that reinforce sadness or anger. Spend time in nature, even for a few minutes each day. The sights, sounds, and calm of the natural world have a profound effect on your mental state. Remember this important principle. You are the average of the 5 voices you hear most. If you want to kill negative thinking, you must stop feeding it. Be intentional with the people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the spaces you inhabit. Build an environment that makes it easier to think positively than negatively when your surroundings support your growth. Even days when motivation is low, your environment will carry you forward. It will protect your mind, strengthen your thoughts, and reinforce the positive patterns you're creating. Controlling your environment is a powerful and often overlooked step in mental mastery. You cannot fully control the world, but you can control the inputs that reach your mind. Every choice you make about what you listen to, who you meet, and where you spend your energy is a decision about the life you're building. When you take control of your environment, negative thinking loses much of its power. Your mind becomes stronger, your thoughts clearer, and your life more aligned with your goals. In this way, the environment becomes a silent ally, helping you fight negativity even when you are not consciously thinking about it. Rule 4. Train your inner voice. Your inner voice is the most powerful influence in your life. It speaks to you more than anyone else ever will. Every thought you have, every word you say to yourself, shapes your actions, your confidence, and your future. If that voice is harsh, critical, and full of doubt, it will destroy your motivation before you even take a step forward. But if your inner voice is encouraging, patient, and determined, it will lift you up, guide you through challenges, and push you to keep going, no matter how hard things become. The way you talk to yourself determines whether you feel trapped by life or empowered to move forward. Training your inner voice is like training a muscle. The more you use it positively, the stronger it becomes. The first step is awareness. Notice how you speak to yourself in everyday situations, especially when things go wrong. If you spill coffee, forget an important task, or make a mistake at work, pay attention to your words. Do you say I'm so stupid? Or do you say that was a mistake, but I'll fix it? The language you choose matters because harsh words create shame, and shame destroys confidence and progress. Words that are kind, honest, and solution-focused, on the other hand, create learning, resilience, and growth. This does not mean you should excuse mistakes or avoid responsibility. It means you should treat yourself like a coach rather than an enemy. A good coach points out errors, but also provides encouragement, guidance, and hope. One practical method to train your inner voice is the best friend rule. Whenever you face a challenge or experience failure, imagine your best friend in your situation. What advice would you give them? How would you comfort them? How would you encourage them to take the next step? Now apply that same advice and kindness to yourself. At first, this may feel awkward or unnatural, especially if you've spent years criticizing yourself more than anyone else ever could, but with consistent practice. Your mind will gradually adopt this compassionate and supportive tone. Naturally, you will begin to notice yourself responding to difficulties with patience and encouragement rather than frustration and doubt. Vigili is another powerful technique to strengthen your inner voice each morning. Spend a few minutes imagining yourself handling a difficult situation with calm, confidence, and clarity. Hear the voice in your mind saying you can do this. You have faced hard challenges before and overcome them. You are capable. Your brain does not fully distinguish between imagined experiences and real ones. By visualizing yourself responding successfully to challenges, you train your mind to react with confidence when real-life situations arise. Over time, this practice rewires your inner voice to naturally support courage and calmness rather than fear and panic. Think of your inner voice. As the captain of a ship, your thoughts are the crew, and the crew takes its cues from the captain. If the captain panics, the crew panics. If the captain is calm, focused, and gives clear instructions, the crew follows without hesitation when your inner voice is strong, clear, and encouraging. Your thoughts align to take effective action. You handle stress better, make decisions with confidence, and persist even when obstacles appear. But if your inner voice is weak, critical, or fearful, your mind becomes scattered, anxious, and easily defeated. Training your inner voice requires patience, repetition, and consistency. Start small. Replace a single harsh thought each day with a supportive one. Use the best friend rule to respond to mistakes with encouragement. Spend a few minutes on visualization exercises every morning. Over time, these small actions build a strong mental habit. Your inner voice will become naturally supportive. Wise and determined, it will remind you of your abilities, highlight your progress, and push you toward growth. Remember, your inner voice is not just a reflection of your mind. It is the force that shapes your reality. A positive, strong, and encouraging voice will change the way you act, the way you think, and the way you feel about yourself. You cannot always control what happens in life, but you can control the words you say to yourself. By training your inner voice, you take command of your mind, just like a captain guiding a ship through rough seas. With a strong inner voice, you will face challenges with courage, learn from mistakes without fear, and slowly eliminate negative thinking from your life. Rule 5: focus on what you can control. One of the biggest sources of negative thinking is trying to control things that are completely outside your power when you waste your energy worrying about events, people, or outcomes that you cannot influence. You set yourself up for frustration, anxiety, and hopelessness. It is like trying to stop the wind with your hands. You will only tire yourself out and the wind will continue to blow. Yet many of us spend hours, days, or even years trying to manage what is uncontrollable. We replay past mistakes, imagine worst-case scenarios, or guess at what others might do, all while ignoring the power we already have. Think back to the last time you felt stressed or anxious. What was the cause? Was it something you could directly control? Or was it something outside your power? Often we find that our stress comes from situations that are completely out of our hands. We worry about what someone said or did, replay events from the past, or imagine future problems that may never happen. These thoughts consume our energy, but do not solve anything. They are mental distractions that keep us stuck, preventing us from focusing on what truly matters. The key to freeing your mind from negativity is to focus on what you can control. You cannot control the weather, but you can decide to carry an umbrella. You cannot control what others think of you, but you can choose how you act, speak, and respond. You cannot control the economy, the traffic, or other people's decisions, but you can control your own skills, habits, and mindset. This shift in focus does not eliminate challenges, but it directs your energy toward actions that actually produce results rather than spinning your mind in endless worry. One practical tool to develop this skill is a simple mental exercise. When you begin to feel anxious, take a moment to write down the situation that is troubling you. Then create two columns, one titled Can Control and the other titled Cannot Control. Break down the problem into every detail and decide where it belongs. Be honest with yourself. After completing the list, deliberately ignore the Cannot Control column. Do not think about it. Instead, focus entirely on the Can Control side and make an action plan for the items you can influence. This practice is simple, but it changes the way your mind works. It trains your brain to separate the important from the unimportant, productive from the unproductive. Focusing on what you can control also builds confidence and self-responsibility. When you stop feeling like a helpless victim of circumstances, you realize that your actions matter. You gain the power to take small steps forward every day. Each action you take reinforces the belief that you can handle life, that challenges are not insurmountable, and that you are capable of solving problems. This mindset gradually weakens negative thinking because your mind becomes occupied with solutions, rather than imaginary fears or regrets. It is important to understand that focusing on control does not mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means putting your attention where it will actually make a difference. Instead of wasting energy on things outside your reach, you focus on the things that yield results. For example, if you are worried about an upcoming exam, do not waste time fearing the difficulty of questions. Instead, focus on studying effectively, organizing your notes, and practicing what you can. If you're anxious about a project at work, control your preparation, planning, and effort, rather than obsessing over what colleagues or clients might think over time. This practice becomes a habit. Your brain begins to naturally ask, "Can I do something about this?" If the answer is yes, you act. If the answer is no, you release it from your mind. This reduces stress, increases mental clarity, and allows you to use your energy for growth instead of worry. You will notice that negative thinking loses power over you because it thrives in uncertainty, helplessness, and fear. When you focus on what you can control, your mind becomes your ally, now guiding you toward solutions instead of trapping you in problems ultimately. Focusing on control is not just a mental exercise, it is a lifestyle. It turns frustration into action, worry into planning, and fear into courage. By consistently choosing to direct your energy toward what you can influence, you train your mind to stay calm, confident, and productive. Negative thinking cannot survive in a mind that is focused on action and responsibility. When you master this rule, you reclaim your power, your peace, and your ability to move forward, no matter the challenges life places before you. Rule 6: turn pain into fuel. Pain is one of the strongest triggers for negative thinking. When life hurts, your mind naturally reacts with feelings of unfairness, doubt, and despair. You may think, "Why me? This is too much. I can't handle this." At first, it is normal to feel that way. Pain is a natural human response, and allowing yourself to feel is healthy. However, staying in that mental space for too long can trap you in a cycle of negativity. Left unchecked, pain can dominate your thoughts, make you feel helpless, and lead to long periods of self-doubt. The truth is, pain has no power over you unless you give it power. Pain can either break you or build you. It depends entirely on what you choose to do with it. Think of your pain as energy. Right now, it may feel raw, confusing, or even overwhelming.